We have all done it. We get caught up in the noise, we follow the script, and then one day we pause and wonder how much of what we're carrying is actually ours. It is so easy to fall into the trap of beating ourselves up when we realize we've been operating on autopilot, when we see how much we've been pulled around by media, by algorithms, by tribal thinking, or just by the sheer pressure to fit into a neat little box. But the first thing we have to offer ourselves, and each other, is a bit of grace. There is no shame in realizing we've been influenced. We live in a world that spends billions of dollars every year specifically designed to extract our attention, mold our desires, and map our insecurities. It isn't a character failure that we got caught in that net. It's just the environment we've been swimming in. It's what happens when you're human, living in this day and age. Nobody is immune to it. I know I'm not. Think about how subtle it is. We log on, or we turn on a screen, or we walk into a room, and without even noticing, we start adapting. We start absorbing opinions we didn't carefully reason through. We pick up anxieties that aren't even ours. We start caring about status, or outrage, or fitting into a category, simply because the noise around us says that's what matters today. It happens so quietly that we genuinely believe these thoughts and impulses originated deep inside us. But so much of it is just atmospheric noise. It's echoes of what the platform or the group wants us to feel. And then we get into this subtle trap of performance. Once we accept a label, whether that's being a certain kind of thinker, a good person, a strong person, conservative, liberal, whatever it might be, we start feeling this quiet pressure to perform that role. We stop speaking from direct experience and start speaking from a script. We edit our honest questions because we're afraid of how they'll look to the crowd. We trade our authentic, messy truth for the safety of group approval. And that trade is exhausting. It burns up so much energy just maintaining the front. When we look closely at how we navigate all this friction with other people, there's an interesting dynamic that happens in our heads almost constantly. We tend to judge ourselves by our intentions, but we judge everyone else by their actions. Think about how that plays out in daily life. When I fall short, when my actions don't line up with who I want to be, I give myself a pass because I know what was going on inside. I know I was tired, or stressed, or running on empty. I know my underlying intention was good, even if the execution was messy. We have full access to our own internal context. We know the backstory. But with other people, we don't get to see their internal context. We only see the external result, their actions, their words, their mistakes. And so, without even realizing it, we judge them on that surface level, while expecting them to judge us on our deep, quiet motives. If someone cuts us off or speaks harshly, we assume it's a character flaw. But if we do it, we know it's just because we had a rough morning. What happens if we flip that dynamic around? What if we start holding ourselves more accountable to our actual actions, while extending a generous assumption of good intent to the people around us? When we hold ourselves to our actions, we stop using good intentions as a cushion to excuse falling short. We stop letting ourselves off the hook with excuses, and we start closing the gap between what we say matters to us and how we actually show up in the physical world. Action becomes the measure, not just the warm feeling of intending to do well. And when we start assuming that other people are also just doing their best, that their messy actions are often coming from fear, fatigue, or the exact same external noise that pulls at us, the whole dynamic softens. We don't have to agree with everyone. We don't have to accept bad behavior or pretend boundaries don't matter. But we can stop viewing everyone who disagrees with us as an enemy. We can see that they are swimming in the same heavy waters we are. Getting back to what's authentic isn't about escaping the world or achieving some flawless, untainted state where nothing ever touches us. It's not about isolating ourselves on a mountain or acting like we're above it all. It's just about quiet awareness. It's about noticing when we're reacting out of habit or social pressure and choosing to take a breath instead. It starts in very simple, unglamorous ways. It starts when we protect a little bit of quiet space in our day. Time where no one is selling us an identity, no feed is telling us what to be angry about, and no one is asking us to pick a team. It starts when we engage in real, direct action in the physical world, building something with our hands, spending time outdoors, taking care of immediate tasks, or practicing a craft purely for the quiet satisfaction of doing it. Doing things without needing to post about it, photograph it, or prove it to anyone else. That kind of private effort anchors us back into reality faster than any intellectual debate ever could. It starts when we let ourselves be complex and a little contradictory, instead of forcing ourselves into a pre-packaged label just to feel safe. You don't have to fit neatly into anyone else's box. You are allowed to change your mind when you get new information. You are allowed to hold views that don't align with a team. We don't need to declare war on the modern world or try to fix everyone else. We just need to clear a little room for our own baseline signal to come through. When we give ourselves permission to drop the performance, we make it just a little bit easier for the people around us to do the exact same thing. We are all in this together, figuring it out as we go. And that's entirely okay. Quiet, soft, very subtle.